when Instagram DMs become dangerous. The story begins, as all modern cycling legends apparently do, with a DM. Not from a sports director, not from a sponsor, not from an agent, but from Mathieu van der Poel himself. Because who needs professionalism when you have Instagram? According to a few quietly leaked whispers from within the cycling world, Van der Poel reached out to Tadej Pogačar sometime earlier this winter, probably with a message like, "Yo, fancy a spin in Calpe?" And because Tadej is possibly the friendliest chaos agent in professional cycling, he replied something along the lines of, "Sure, why not? I'll bring snacks." And just like that, the most powerful cross-discipline duo in the sport, the king of the monuments and the prince of the grand tours, arranged a ride. Not an official camp, not a media stunt, just two guys with frightening FTPs and a suspicious disregard for their team PR managers. A few fans spotted them soon after, two bright jerseys on a climb in Calpe, chatting like old pals. No cameras, no coaches, no sawyers, yelling splits times. Just laughter, pedals, turning, and about 900 watts of mutual admiration. For their teams, this was nothing short of an existential nightmare. Because here's the problem. UAE Team Emirates and Alpecin are at heart competitors. They might be polite about it in public, but behind the scenes, every watt, every pedal stroke, and every hint of strategy is top secret. Having Pogačar and Van der Poel ride together, unsupervised, is like Apple and Samsung's CEO going on a fishing trip with prototypes in their backpacks. Team managers saw the photos, and somewhere in a boardroom, a collective migraine began. When worlds collide, UAE versus Alpecin. So let's set the stage. One side you have UAE Team Emirates, the global super team of budget, data and dreams. They operate with the precision of a Formula One outfit. Every meal, every watt, every recovery nap is tracked. Pogačar doesn't sneeze without someone logging it in training peaks. On the other side, you have Alpecin, the freewheeling, punch-drunk rock band of cycling. Their leader, Van der Poel, trains half on instinct and half on anger. He disappears into forests for a week, returns, wins a monument, and then posts a photo captioned, "Good ride." When these two forces meet for a casual spin, it's not just a ride, it's a coalition of cultures. Imagine the scene. Somewhere in Spain, the UAE nutritionist is frantically WhatsApping. What do you mean he stopped for coffee with Van der Poel? Does he even know the glycogen window is closing? Meanwhile, Alpecin's media guys probably muttering, "Please, dear God, no pictures of him in UAE kit. Red Bull will freak out." Because let's be honest, Van der Poel and Pogačar training together isn't just weird, it's downright dangerous for the narrative. Both riders are built from different DNA strands of insanity. Van der Poel, the cyclocross monster who lives on adrenaline. Pogačar, the smiling Slovenian who wins tours like their Sunday crits. They shouldn't be in the same training zone, let alone sharing gels, but apparently the friendship is real. In an interview earlier this year, Pogačar admitted, quote, "We are good friends. We rode together in Spain. We met each other." Short, sweet and vague, classic Tadej, which only fuels the speculation. Fans are now joking that they're secretly forming a super team, because honestly, what else could explain this alliance? The teams react, or try to pretend they're fine. Behind the smiles and the "it's just a friendly ride" rhetoric, the teams are losing their collective minds. For UAE Team Emirates, Pogačar is their billion-euro poster guy. Every watt he produces is part of a marketing campaign. The idea that he's just casually trading secrets with a guy sponsored by Red Bull and not Emirates is borderline hearsay. Sources close to the team claim a few directors weren't thrilled when they saw the photos. One reportedly said, "We don't control his friendships, but we prefer our riders to train within team structure." Translation, we control his friendships and this is one that's giving us heartburn. Meanwhile, at Alpecin, things aren't much calmer. Van der Poel's staff love him to death, but they also know he's unpredictable. When Mathieu decides to do something, it's already happening before anyone can stop him. He probably mentioned it in passing, something like, "Oh, I'm going for a ride with Poggy tomorrow," and the DS just fainted quietly into his coffee. Because again, there are politics, sponsorships, branding, media positioning. UAE's kit screams oil money and corporate control. Alpecen's energy drink punk rock. They're not supposed to mix. It's like sending a Harvard economist to Coachella. Fascinating to watch, but somebody is getting unfortunate and uncomfortable. Still, both riders clearly don't care. They rode, they laughed, and they probably dropped every mortal within a 10-kilometer radius. Later, they posted nothing about it. The modern cyclist way of saying, yes, it happened, but you don't get details. Which, of course, only makes it worse. The less they said, the more everyone else speculated. The ride heard around the internet. It didn't take long for cycling social media to explode. First came the fan theories. They're plotting a monument alliance. Pogačar switching to Alpecin. Van der Poel's coaching Tadej on how to descend like a psychopath. Then came the memes. Glorious, terrible memes. Edits of the two laughing with captions like Tour de Flanders 2026 winners, both of them. Others jokingly called it the most expensive cafe ride in history. But the wildest reactions came from journalists, who immediately demanded explanations. Why were two of the sport's biggest stars, representing rival teams, riding together in the middle of the pre-season? Was this an innocent spin, or a strategic summit? When asked, both sides gave predictably sterile answers. UAE's press office. Tadej was in Spain doing his usual endurance rides. Riders sometimes meet on the road. There's nothing unusual about it. Alpecen's spokesperson. Mathieu often trains with other professionals. It was a friendly ride. Right. Just like how... yeah, some of the Secret Service used to meet with other countries' Secret Service casually in neutral cafes during, say, the Cold War. Totally normal. Okay, so let's assume they did more than chat about the weather. What do two of the biggest sports people, geniuses in the sport, actually say to each other on a 4-hour spin? Maybe Tadej opened with, "So, how's it feel to have more rainbow jerseys than rest days?" To which Mathieu probably replied, "How's it feel to have more yellow jerseys than I have socks?" Between the jokes, though, they probably discussed the real stuff. The tour, the classics, the media pressure. Because while they're both monsters on the bike, they also share something deeper. The exhaustion of being the face of cycling. Both of them are hunted every season. Every single time, every tour is expected to be a victory. Every defeat sparks think pieces and Twitter wars. There's no off button. So maybe, for once, it felt refreshing to talk to someone who gets it. One rider even claimed that the two riders share a mutual respect for each other's work ethic. Quote, "They're very different, but they understand each other's madness," said a mechanic who worked with both. Quote, "They don't compete in the same way, they just push the sport forward." That's what makes this story so compelling. It's not a scandal. It's not betrayal. It's two greats crossing paths and realizing they speak the same unspoken language. Pain, wattage, and slightly unhinged joy. So why did the teams actually fear this friendship? Here's the twist. The problem isn't that they're friends, is that they might be too compatible. Imagine a world where Tadej starts taking tips from Van der Poel about bike handling, cornering, and aggression. The guy's already a nightmare to go against. Do we really want him learning cyclocross reflexes from Mathieu? Visma surely doesn't. Jonas Vingegaard's breakfast probably went cold when he saw that photo. Meanwhile, Alpecin must be praying that Van der Poel doesn't suddenly decide that stage racing looks kind of fun. Because if he ever used to try the Tour de France seriously, well good, Good luck to him, I guess, keeping him away from the Pogačar slipstream. There's also commercial anxieties. UAE's brand depends on exclusivity. Pogačar is their crown jewel. If he's seen as too cozy with Red Bull's poster boy, it kind of dilutes their image. Likewise, Red Bull doesn't love seeing Van der Poel riding next to a guy whose team is sponsored by a national airline. It's not extreme sports energy drink, it's 5-star hotel in Monaco. Cycling politics are ridiculous that way. Two humans can't even go for a spin without lawyers raising eyebrows. What's your opinion on this? Comment down below your opinion and leave a like on today's video for good luck. Subscribe if this is your very first time here to stay up to date with all of the latest cycling news, cycling drama and cycling results. See you guys in the next one.